Day 2 with Ed and Mike. All right, a little breezy out here today for our second day. And where's the radio? Okay. Now this airplane, we'll be able to back up in this wind.
Yeah,
we'll be able to touch down so slowly that you'll just be amazed.
Okay.
Because we've got probably, we're feeling here about maybe 10. It might be 10, 15 up a ways, 15 and even gusting to 20.
Come on, yeah.
But, and this plane is a light, floaty, wonderful airplanes. Okay, now the other battery there for the glow plug.
Are we ready, Ray?
In the glow plug battery.
Oh. I need remedial glow plug here or something.
You know, as long as I've done this flying, I forget things like that myself all the time. The hardest thing I have the task that I have to do each morning is find my coffee cup. It's either by the computer or in the kitchen next to the microwave or something.
Ready?
Yeah. So here, I'll give you that. And because it's so windy, we'll walk it out to the runway. This thing is like a kite. All right. Now, a rule of thumb for flying, and I'm going to go down just a little on that, is that you always want to fly at the flying station that's closest to where you'd be landing. And we've got 3 flying stations, so we're going to fly in this one.
Okay.
Because the wind is now from the west. We're going to be landing all of our landings from right to left. We may do right and left pattern. So, okay, let's go ahead and get her going.
Okay.
Oh, wait. One more second here. Get the stopwatch going.
Ray, what about holding it to 17 minutes just because of the fuel situation?
Oh, okay.
With the wind and
Yeah,
stuff
at 17 minutes we'll go up and do the glide then. And we'll probably get 20 okay that way.
Okay.
Yeah. So, okay. So,
Ready.
right on up you go. Good. I was close by, but I didn't need to do anything. Okay, now you can come down on power quite a bit. It looks like it might be a little richer today because it's got a real trail of smoke,
Yeah.
but as long as it's reliable. Okay, and you're comfortable up and away just flying it. Now, we don't want to get too far downwind. If we lost our engine with this airplane,
we'd be going.
it might not even be able to glide back here. So now let's lower the speed a bit by lowering the throttle. Now, when it is windy, a good little drill to do in the beginning anyway is a figure-8 pattern.
Okay.
And so this tree over here right in front of us, see, as we come over here, we want to not go behind that tree. So we're right about over the tree right there.
Okay, right.
And then as we come around in this figure-8, now we're going to go over, but we're not going to go past the line that the safety line of the runway, see?
Okay.
So here we didn't go past us,
Yeah.
in other words, that line that we're standing on.
Okay.
And so now you could go over this way again, and now left again, because we're doing a figure-8.
Okay.
And we continue, or we make that left turn as long as it's in front of that tree. You know, and then as we come over here, and you can do an immediate back around if you wanted to. And then left again, because we don't want to go on the other downwind side of that tree.
Well, it sure balloons up. The wind gets into the wind.
But if it goes up, all you have to do is push forward slightly on this stick. That's the elevator stick.
Okay.
And when people complain about the airplane, I say, oh, okay, you're not a pilot yet. I see. Pilots don't complain about airplanes. Pilots know what the limitations are of the airplane, and they respect that airplane, even if it's a rotten flying airplane, you know? Because guess what? It's ultimately the pilot that's responsible. And if your control system doesn't work just exactly the way you want it to do, it's even more of a challenge for you to land it perfectly, isn't it?
Yes.
It's even more of a thing to be proud of as a pilot. If you can take a rotten flying airplane, not that this is a rotten flying airplane, not by any stretch, but you know, you just don't complain about the airplane. You know, if you do, you're showing that you really are. Now we can continue this as long as we go in front of the tree.
All right.
See? Now when we're slope soaring, there's a rule that we always stay in front of the slope, and it's kind of like what we're doing now. We do a figure-8 pattern along the slope, and we always turn out towards the ocean, away from the slope. And I hope one of these days, maybe even this afternoon, we can go down and do a little, I'll show you the slope soaring.
That'd be fun.
Uh-huh. Yeah, because we got a perfect wind for it right now. So let's add a little power here now, maybe, just. So you can see that this is a good little drill to do. You're maintaining altitude. It's kind of like the circle drill we did yesterday, only now it's left and rights. And the main objective is to not lose altitude and just stay out in front of us in this sort of 90-degree sector that we have here, which I call the aerobatic corridor or the aerobatic sector. Okay, now let's stay downwind here and off power all the way, because we're ready to shoot a landing now. Now, with this airplane, again, as light as it is, we're going to have to turn in. What the effective wind is that you have to turn in sooner, and you have to accept steeper descent angles, because you need the speed over the ground or through the air, and now our ground speed is down quite a bit. Okay, right on up on power, good. The ground speed is down to almost nothing, which makes it easier for us in a way, because, okay, off power, all the way. It makes it easier for us because the plane is going so slowly over the ground, we can actually see and relate to it. But we still have to do the fundamentals, which are drive it down. See, this is the driving down part. And notice how even at this angle, it's not coming very fast past us, is it? Because of that wind. Now that we're here, now we just slow it down. Good, right on up. And now, as we're climbing out here, if we wanted to go full left here and do a roll, okay, no problem with doing that. Although I lost your thumb there. Okay, off power. Here we go. Ray, where are you going with that thing? You know, and good. Now, see, since it's windy, our approach angle, which looks like it might be steep, let's do a floating one down just for fun. It looks like a kite, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
If you can almost imagine the string sitting on that airplane.
Yeah.
And it's just floating down, it's just sitting there. Now, as the nose drops, we do a little bit of pumping like this, and it's just, now let's commit to land. We're gonna go right on down to within a foot, and here we are. And see, keep those wings level, good, up on power. So, a floating down landing like that, that's not the highest percentage landing. That's one after you learn to do it a little bit better, okay, off power. I want to show you that just, early on, but here's the high percentage landing. You drive it down with plenty of reserve speed, get it close to the ground, and then slow it down. Now that should have a familiar ring, because that's the way we always land anyway. See, here we've got it low to the ground. Now, good, up on power. So when people say to me, well, Ray, what do I do differently in the wind to fly my airplane, especially to land it? I say nothing. As a matter of fact, you have to just execute what I've taught you how to fly in without wind. You have to execute that better. You have to do it. You have to keep the wings level, and you have to get it low. And here it is, that easiest kind of landing out in front of us. Good, right on up. So the answer is the wind technique is just the same as the regular technique, only it's more important that you execute it.
Yeah, sure.
Now that fact is why most people don't like to fly in wind, because they don't really know how to land. They don't know how to drive it down with speed and get it low and below most of the gusts so that they don't have such a problem with the wind. And so they'd rather just take wind out of the factor completely by just not flying in wind. So you'll see a day like this, the guys will go, oh, well, I'm not going to fly today. It's too windy. Do you hear that at your club field sometime?
Yeah.
And guys that can fly in the wind are considered really adventurous. Okay, and they are, because you see the wreckage that's caused, and but again, if you use the techniques that I'm teaching you, wind doesn't bother you at all. See, you're driving it down. Now that we get here, now we're nice and slow and low, and that's the thing, up on power all the way. Remember, we don't want to spend some time getting up to altitude when we could get there quicker.